Starfleet Underground. Every week, we'll take a look at the latest Star Trek news and then check out a current or classic episode of Star Trek.
Jurati has the hookup, but as the Beastie Boys say, she's crafty, she'll steal you blind. 2024 and 7 of 9 are numbers that go well together. Rios is a genius. Rafty's not getting mugged, she's mugging you. And Picard plans to go back to the future. Plus, on Discovery, Grudge saves the day. Well, at least her caller does.
Are you serious? That happened? Well, how the fuck long is it going to be before he's fixed?
Beep.
See, you can't do that.
Beep.
Oh, fuck. We're going to have to get EMH on this.
Beep.
Captain,
we have a little bit of an issue. Yes?
what's wrong with Rafty?
Beep.
He was trying to work on a neural interface so this way we could command the dots by thought.
Beep.
He thought it would be a good idea, and he went in too deep.
Beep.
Oh no, did
Beep.
he hook himself up to the dot?
Well, he went in too deep to the programming mentally, and now
Beep.
he's beeping like a smoke detector that you can't turn off.
Oh man.
Beep.
Patrick?
Well,
Just
Hold
unplug
on,
me.
I'll get it.
Beep.
Let me get it. I'll fix him here. Hold on. Just give me like 2
Beep.
seconds.
Ow! Wow! Ooh, that hurts. Thank God you plugged me though.
Sorry.
I could only hear what the friggin' dot was thinking, and he thinks it beeps.
He thinks it beeps.
Our dots we only got the dot module that makes a sound effect from the short trek, because our dot is the cartoon dot.
Oh.
And it only makes a sound effect that goes beep. So
Oh my
that's the only way
God.
it would speak to me. And I was neurally linked, and the only way it would say anything to me was beep.
That explains so much. You would not believe how many times I'm sitting there thinking, what the hell is going on in your mind?
And that's
They're
why one of the
beeping.
crew members says our chief engineer is literally rolling on the floor like a dot down the corridor. Oh,
What's scary is what you thought, because I was linked up to the dot, what the dot was getting from me. That's frightening.
well, we're gonna have to see. Hopefully, nothing's gonna be. Wait, what the fuck is that attached to you? Is that a hose?
Oh my God.
He's got hose attached to him.
Is it dragging along the? What? What do you mean you're Rocky now?
He's just a
you think-
copy. It's just a backup. Don't worry about it.
In order for you to think you're Rocky, you have to have an appendage that resembles a penis and is dragging on the ground. Don't laugh. That's not funny. Get out. Chief, I think that went both ways. Wait, what the fuck? Somebody covered my light again. We're broadcasting again. Oh, shit.
Not like they haven't heard this before.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Might as well get started in this report. Listen, if you're a kid, you already heard stuff you weren't supposed to hear, so don't hear this stuff anymore. Just get out.
Appendage.
Yeah. There's a lot of laughter, as you could tell. We barely let our computer guy in because sometimes mentally he can fit as a child, as well as all of us here. We do have sophomoric humor, and so that spreads. But welcome aboard here to Starfleet Underground. We don't have a guest today, but if you're a member of our Patreon, you would have known that. So there's that.
I am working on getting a guest.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, because he is our VIP liaison, which he'll talk more about that when the time comes. So, first off, today's show is being brought to you by, as always, Section 31 and our wonderful Patreon people. So thanks for that, because you really do help offset the cost of our communication relays, as well as neutering and feeding all of these friggin' tribbles on board the ship. So in case you haven't listened to this show before, which is ludicrous, my name is Nathan Adams, and I'm captain aboard this wonderful vessel. And we have our lovely science officer.
Hi, I'm Heather Ferris. I'm the science officer. And Rocky, I think you gave the Tribbles a bad idea, because now they're coming to me with like this cord in their mouth and they're wanting to, I don't know, hook me up to them or something. All I want to do is just take them out for a walk.
They just want to get a piece of information.
They don't realize they're not like the dots.
Oh my goodness. This is going to be interesting. Next we have on board here is my number one, and he takes care of all the programming, and he was able to fix Chief.
Hey, this is Patrick. I'm number one computer guy and foreign species liaison. What's going on, peoples?
And okay, I have my fingers crossed. I don't know how this is going to go because he should be fixed. And we have our chief engineer, the winner of the O'Brien Award.
Hey, everybody. I'm Rocky Robinson. I'm the engineer of the show and the ship. And beep.
No, that was intentional, right?
Of course.
Yay, you're back.
Oh,
Beep.
thank God.
Beep.
Oh, no. Okay. We have any corrections there, number one?
Let's check subspace here. Just a moment. No, apparently we were 100 last week, so we're good.
We do have one correction, and there's a correction you made, which is a correction to the chief. So thank you for that.
No, well, you know.
Beep.
Oh, no.
Sorry, couldn't help.
Oh, my God. That would be, yeah. Okay. Heather,
Hi, Captain.
you have news.
I do. In season 2, episode 2 of Picard, called Penance, we see a collection of skulls from creatures Picard has killed. Now, we missed this, but if you look closely, you'll see that one of those aliens is a Saurian, Saurian.
Like Linus.
Yeah, but his name is Yoshi. So the skull looks like Yoshi from Super Mario Brothers, and his name is Yoshi. It's Y''SHI. And it is now canon that Picard killed Yoshi. If you want the picture of this, check out our Twitter account, Starfleet_G. We will also have the link to this news in the show notes as well. Oh, and I have to do this before the end of my turn. Bum, 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 bum.
Bum, 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 bum.
Bum, 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 bum.
Well, here's a little trivia for you there, Heather, since you like Mario Brothers.
Uh-huh.
What is Mario's overalls made out of?
They're not jeans?
Oh, no. Actually, you're close. They're made out of denim.
Oh, that's cute. I like that.
Okay.
That was so cool.
Stupid.
And that's a good segue. Speaking of stupid, this is our computer guy. What do you got for us news there, Pat?
Well, it's not really Trek related, but just FYI, on this day in 1999, Farscape premiered. Bum, 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 which is an amazing show. Thank you very much. Okay, so the Star Trek news. Star Trek Strange New Worlds has cast a new crew member for season 2, and it's going to be Paul Wesley from Vampire Diaries as Captain James T. Kirk. Now, they've confirmed that Anson Mount will continue to star as Captain Pike as a series regular in season 2, and they don't know exactly, they're not giving any details about, Paul's status as a regular on the show come season 2, but he did say he's deeply humbled and still a little startled to be given the honor of playing the inimitable James T. Kirk. Ever since I was a kid, I've been awed by the imaginative world Gene Roddenberry created. Recently, I boarded a flight to LA to discover that the man in the seat next to me was none other than William Shatner. So,
That's pretty wild.
Right?
I wonder if he's going to have the same speech.
Yeah.
I hope not.
That would be like iconic Kirk if he does
My
that.
brain is zapping out just a little bit because we've had so many people playing Spock now. To have so many people playing the character of Kirk is like shorting my brain just a tiny bit.
I could see it now. I see. I'm on this ship called Enterprise. I am slated to take over soon, but I don't know when. So that would be.
Remind me never to ask you to do a Kirk.
Thank you. All right. Speaking of not asking, but I'm going to ask anyway. What do you have for us news-wise?
Aside from laughing at the entire cast publicly announcing that they have no idea what their schedule looks like to do the next Star Trek movie, it's because Carl Urban was the latest one. Was like, yeah, I'd love to do another Star Trek, but I got scheduling problems because I'm already booked doing things. And I just like, guys, you don't have to discuss your schedules publicly in our news feeds. I mean, you can talk individually. It's okay. You can talk amongst yourselves. You don't have to come out to the world and make a press release. Or somebody's tweeting something. They just do this shit out loud. I'm like, wow, man. It kind of blows me away. It's like, you guys are adding more drama to something that doesn't need more drama. We've had plenty of drama with Star Trek movies. No more needed. Thank you.
Isn't that just LA period?
I have no idea. Maybe it's a new thing that I'm getting used to still because of the world of Twitter. But yeah, it's like they don't just announce and discuss their schedules publicly like this, do they? That's not normal.
It's a Twitter thing.
In order to let all the agents and movie directors out, I am in demand because I am a working actor. So if you want me, get in line. So what are you doing today? Oh, I'm watching a movie.
Right.
You know, they call that having several meetings.
Yes, we're having a meeting.
Yeah, we're having a meeting.
I also got the more fun world of Star Trek was new in my life is I have received the CD full of the completely remastered Star Trek The Motion Picture soundtrack.
Ooh.
And got to listen to that in my car. I was a little upset because I went through all the effort to pick up my giant subwoofer box and put it back in my car because I pull that out when I need.
I hate to tell you,
Yes.
Rocky, but that was not a subwoofer. That was your member.
No. This one's detachable. I can remove the subwoofer from the vehicle. The other thing's not detachable. Even though there's a song, but that's a whole nother thing. So anyway, I tried to put that sucker in there and the fuse was blown, so I couldn't even hear the subs. But it's still, the soundtrack had power and clarity and clean, and it was just wonderful to listen to while you're driving down the road. I don't know where you're listening to your movie soundtracks, but that's one great place to do it. If you're pissed off and driving, nothing better than having some awesome music going to cheer you up.
And especially in heavy traffic, and you can do the battle song. So you're trying to pass by people
The Klingon
and hitting the gas and
oh yeah, that was good too. But from the motion picture soundtrack, that's basically where we heard the Klingon theme.
That's really good. With the chink noise in it.
Yeah, it was really cool to hear that. And it's neat to hear the soundtrack because I wonder if some of the soundtrack wasn't actually in the movie because you hear more. There's more to the music. So it's not just the music cue, but there's actually more to it. It's a lot of fun to listen to. I don't get a chance to listen to soundtracks all that often, but I do remember that they're wonderful to listen to. And if you ever get a chance to, it's always a good fun thing to listen to is get a cool movie soundtrack.
See, that's pretty friggin' cool. Now, I guess my news is going to be, now I know there's a lot of people, even though from what I remember in the almanac, that the virus is things are opening up, but because they're opening up, there's supposed to be like a resurgence of the virus. What is it called again? The virus in the 21st century.
COVID-19.
COVID, that's it.
Yeah, that was
COVID.
it.
Okay. However,
is it that one or Trumpism?
Oh, geez.
No, that one is still around, I think. It's in 4 different little reaches of places. However, if you guys are feeling lonely and you're stuck in the home, I got a way for you to be able not to be so bad. There's a Star Trek watch party. It's hosted every day.
Woo!
And it's coordinated on Facebook.
Yay.
Every evening, they use a teleparty browser extension to watch Star Trek together. If you want to find out about it and actually get together and watch Star Trek with random people you don't know, and hopefully we'll get to know, just look for Star Trek, watch party on Facebook.
Why are we looking at Star Trek's ?
You're looking in the wrong end.
That's because that's where I was getting ready to say something that even Section 31 would be mad at, so I'm not going to say that. And so that's going to be really good. And if you're visually impaired, there's an eye blind users group also that hosts Trekkie Talk on the first and third Thursday of every month. They have an audio descriptive version of Star Trek episode, and they get together virtually to discuss it.
Wow, that's really cool. I didn't know about that.
That is so cool.
That's awesome.
And the site is iBug Today. That's ibugtoday.com/Trekkie-talk.
Cool.
So those are things that you get a chance to do. And one of the things we're going to do right now is we either going to do our science officer or our computer guy. So which one is on the table
I know
first?
which one I'd like to do first, but I shouldn't say that out loud.
Oh, my.
Yeah, because Patrick could come running over.
I would not.
He's a really good looking dude. I mean, as far as dudes are concerned.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah, he is. Well, you're right. He wouldn't run over. He'd use those long ass legs of his and just stride down the hallway or like Paul Bunyan. So, okay, who's first?
Should we save the best for last? So, Discovery.
Why would we save Rocky for last?
Hey, wait a minute. What?
Should we save Discovery for last?
I guess so. Yeah, we could do that. We'll do Discovery last, which
Okay.
means you're first.
Sweet. Okay. So this week we watched Star Trek Picard Season 2, Episode 3, Assimilation. It first aired March 17th, 2022. The show started where the last one left off. Stuff happened in the middle, and then we had a happy ending.
You smart-ass motherfucker. if that's all you did, I'm going to be really fucking pissed off with you.
Okay, here's the real summary.
Oh my God. I have tears. Oh, I have
She
tears.
did that with a very straight face. That was very, very good. I could hear how straight her face was on the audio.
And I had him on my view screen. The look on his face is priceless.
Because I think Patrick said, what, his is like 4 pages or something?
Yeah.
That's funny. Okay.
Okay, I got the real one. Okay. Seven's husband knows she's a fake, and once the jig is up, Picard and the gang disarm and vaporize Seven's husband and henchman. The getaway begins with a chase, followed by a space battle. During the fight, the Borg Queen does a face plant on the concrete, breaking open her cage and allowing her freedom. In order to gain control of the ship, she neutralizes the threat and warps to 9.9, going around the sun and back to the past. Picard and the crew have made it, and as they gaze in wonder at the 21st century Earth, they realize they have no brakes. The ship crashes into the Earth, and with the small amount of power that they have, they divert it to the Borg Queen, keeping her alive, while Elnor, in sickbay, passes away in Raffi's arms. The only way to bring Elnor back is to complete their mission. Jurati and Picard stay with the Borg Queen in order to get the information that they need by assimilating Jurati so she can hack the Queen's mind. Meanwhile, Raffi, Seven, and Rios beam to LA to look for the Watcher. Remember, no hospitals, no authorities, no security checks, and don't draw attention to yourself. Even though each one landed in a different area, Seven and Raffi head to their destination, while Rios heads to the clinic with a concussion from his transporter accident. Rios develops a Kirk-like crush on the doctor, and during an immigration raid, Rios gets arrested by authorities. Meanwhile, Raffi and Seven are standing on the tallest tower, looking at a blip on the tracker that may be the Watcher.
Picard definitely had a lot of things. And I just thought, let's like, come on, first off, of all things that happen, Rios takes a face dive onto Farscape.
That looks so
Rios was
painful.
like, okay, first, no hospitals. And second, don't get involved with anybody. And third, don't get noticed. And what did he do? Well, first thing he did, he fell over and he got hit his head on the floor. And then he gets into a hospital. And then he gets involved with a cute couple a cute mother and kid. And then he eats the cookies. And I'm pretty sure eating the cookies is what actually destroyed the entire universe.
Is that what did it, the cookies?
I think that's probably what happened.
Butterfly effect.
Yeah.
And it was really kind of strange because he's kind of like the comic version of Kirk. It's like, don't do the thing. I'm going to do all the things.
Do the thing. Yeah.
And it's like, wow. And I wonder who was responsible for the transporting them again?
Oh, Picard.
It was the doctor. No, it was Picard that transported him.
Yeah, so Picard, he messed up the equation.
So he probably had some haterade.
It was below, so it was subcomputational, that transporter.
Yeah.
Picard forgot to carry the one.
That's probably what happened. And so he carried the one in the air.
You don't have enough power for the transporter. It kind of operates on Windows 95, and you end up half beamed in over a wrong place. That's when you end up beamed into a wall or 10 feet above the floor or something.
Yeah, if they had full power, he would have been.
I thought that was funny because everybody kind of had the bad beam in. I mean, Raffi ended up in the middle of the street where everybody could have seen her, and she ends up, she kind of gets beamed in between a couple vehicles. And I think her beam in was the most like Terminator 2 when you get beamed in, it just, you didn't get an orb destroying everything around her, but she was beamed into, a nice mostly secluded area. Seven got beamed in front of a cute little kid, and now she's a superhero officially. Seven is a superhero.
I love that.
Robbie was beamed in on Skid Row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
in between the alleyway.
And then Rios gets fucking beamed in 10 feet above the floor.
I love that when the little girl witnesses 7 and 9 beaming in and she's like, oh, are you a superhero? And I love 7 and 9's response where she's like, can you keep a secret?
7 is killing 2024. She really is.
Yeah, her in 2024 should date.
Yeah, it's wondered that how come, like, Ralphie, it didn't tell her. She's like, people like me here. It's like, yeah, you're tall, you're blonde, and you're pretty. They're going to love you in California.
She fits right in, right?
Yeah. So I thought that was funny. Then they did the cute lesbian couple.
Yeah.
It's like, we want to take our picture on the highest thing. You can't be cool.
They call it a photo.
Yeah. I know.
We're here to capture an image. They call it a photo.
You call it taking a picture.
I want to be put into celluloid. It's called a photo.
Like, you can't be more fun than, what was the guy's name?
Kevin.
Kevin.
That's
Kevin,
right.
man. What the fuck, Kevin? Why are you fucking around? Of course, the 2 gorgeous girls show up. You're going to let them, tour the entire tower. Fucking Kevin.
I am totally more fun than Kevin.
Right? Yeah. Kevin was so much
funny.
fun. We love Kevin. Oh, I'm way better than Kevin.
Kevin.
Fuck that, Kevin. I'm going to show you girls a good time.
They're just measuring dicks.
Well, that's what happens in 2024. They're always just measuring dicks.
Oh,
But that was really funny. And then when Rio, again, does everything they told him not, so he's in the hospital, that they draw his blood, and he's got pulled fingers, and then the doctor is talking to him, and she's like, okay, go ahead, leave. She's a smart ass. I like
Yeah,
her.
she's great.
Yeah.
No, she fits right in, and Rios is perfect to flirt with her. Oh, you must play classical guitar. It's like, oh, well, yeah, I don't know what that is, but sure I do. Yeah. His hand was dislocated in the perfect bar chord, It was like he had perfect form with his dislocated finger to play guitar.
And the fact that she asked him for like your happiest memory, and then we're starting to get into the memory, and it's starting to get the close up of his face, and then he's like, my fingers, because
that's how they relocate your fingers. I fortunately haven't had a dislocation to worry about yet, but my father told me a similar story where it's a lot quicker than his. It was okay. It's dislocated. I guess I'll set it here, and so okay, we're gonna go in 3, 2, bam. Caught him off guard. He skipped the number. So that's how you fix a dislocation, apparently.
Yeah, it's good misdirection. Yeah. And it was funny. It was funny when she popped it.
Yeah. And then Raffi, she's put in the middle of Skid Road, and she gets mugged. And I love her reaction. She's like, oh, you want money? Oh, yeah, no. And he's like, what? Yeah, I'm going to hurt you. And then she just kicks the crap out of him. I literally watched that like 7 or 8 times. Like, I kept going back and watching it, and I could probably see that a million times.
I would love to have that reaction naturally. If somebody came up to me and was like, your money, motherfucker. And I'd be like, no. And then,
like, no.
And then bitch slap him. I mean, that's like...
She basically, after she does that and knocks him out, she's like, I think I'm going to take your money.
Yes.
Who's rubbing who here?
She rubs him. I love her.
Yeah, Raffi kicks ass.
She's been a badass like her whole acting career. Like on Law and Order, she kicked ass too.
Yeah, and then 7's like, what are you doing? And she's like, he started it.
Yeah, that's right. So I didn't do nothing, man. That was self-defense.
Right? Oh, I love her. I love her so freaking much. I
loved the moment in the beginning where 7 was like, okay, dear, I order you to put your weapon down. And of course, the husband's like, what's my full fucking name? And 7's like... And he fucking nails 7. And then you think it's all over with and everyone's being held at phaser point. And I blinked. So I had to rewatch this twice because I missed 7 ripping off the guy's arm and beating him with it. I mean,
wait, she did what?
It happened so quickly. She disarmed him so fast. And then everybody got disintegrated, which I thought was interesting because if you're holding somebody back, you're touching them, right? And they get phasered and disintegrate right in your hands. How does the phaser know that not to disintegrate you while you're standing behind them?
Well, also, too, is why didn't Elnor get vaporized? Why did he only get a wound?
Well, they weren't set to disintegrate, I guess.
Yeah, which means that they grabbed those guns and set them to disintegrate and then, vaporize their asses. And if the guns were not on vaporized when they were hitting Elnor, does that mean that Seven's husband still had doubts whether Seven actually was his wife or not?
The way I look at this is they came in, the Confederation phasers, not set to disintegrate. They're just set to hurt your ass, make it very painful, and probably kill you, or at least let you live long enough to enjoy the pain of death.
They don't have the Federation setting of stun.
Yeah, whereas the Federation's phasers, well, they weren't the Federation phasers. They were the equivalent of I don't know what Rios' phasers would be set to in the alternate universe. That was the universe with the modified evilness to it. But they were deceptively set to disintegrate and disintegrate quickly. So,
but basically, that's the reason why Seven gave Raffi that look, because she's like, Raffi, you didn't have to vaporize him. He was my husband. You didn't have to vaporize him.
Yes, she did.
I thought the look was thank you.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was like, really?
It's like, girl,
like,
you just took care of
seriously?
all my problems. Thank you.
No, he deserved to be vaporized.
Yeah, and they vaporize in such pretty, if you're high, colors. It'll make you want to watch it all over again.
Oh, they were sparkly red. Yeah, that was kind of cool. Very, very nice effects.
They were Twilight vampires.
They were twinkly.
Oh, God, I hate that movie.
Twinkly phasers.
It looks like somebody did sand art and just kind of let the fan blow on it.
And I really got caught up in the moment when Elnor basically passed on. I was pissed off that and forgot that, of course, they're on Rios' ship, but it's Rios's, alternate universe ship. So there's no medical tricorder, and the sickbay bed was not very good. And the only thing they had was a fucking Band-Aid. So they essentially put a big ass Band-Aid on Elnor, and that's the only thing they could have done for him. So that was really harsh. And then I realized, why did the writers make Elnor have to die? It was because it was easier to save on the makeup expense of doing his ears each time.
Oh,
you couldn't stick him on Earth. So instead of having to make him wear a hat the entire time on Earth and be really out of place by being on brutally honest the entire time, no, they just said, well, just kill him right now, and there'll be motivation to get him fixed later.
Oh my God.
Yeah, hopefully once they fix the timeline, he'll be alive again.
And I'm worried about that because I'm like, wait a minute, does temporal mechanics work that way? And you start thinking about it, and Ralphie's like, no, it works that way. That's the way it's going to work because I'm going to make it work that way. So I love how even as seriously fucked up emotional Raffi is, she is determined and instantly locks in on what needs to be done and how to get it done. She instantly goes into how to figure it out mode.
Elnor's last joke really got to her.
It was really bad, right?
It was so funny. He's like, I'm stronger than you think. And Raffi's like, oh yeah, prove it. Can't. Busy at the moment with organs.
Yeah, it was funny.
It was just like, man.
I was highly upset as well as Ralphie was when he passed.
Yeah.
Ralph, I was like, come on, you can't kill him. But then I thought about it. Well, to try to get him to be on Earth at that time looking like that with absolute candor might have been.
He would not fit in.
No. And what she said, I do believe once they fix the timeline, he's going to be back. And he's going to wonder why everybody's hugging up on him. So that was a really sad moment when he got shot like that. And you would figure that because Earth is like alien killers, that he would knew the shot to be able to hit him with to be lethal.
Yeah.
So that was really a hard moment. And to see the way she got pissed off and upset, she's like, you can't tell me for certain. I'm just going to say it will. So let's get this watcher and let's get it done. So you don't want to stand in her way when she's pissed.
Nope. Not at all. And during the fight scene, before they do the time travel around the sun, Rios is at the chair and he's like, we need more hands up here. I need some help up here. You need to get up here. And then Seven had to turn around from sick bay and run all the way up to the bridge. And I'm like, remember the good old days when you had to run to the bridge instead of teleporting there instantaneously?
Yeah, and that's not even a huge ship either. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, but it was just I watched Discovery. That was probably my problem. I watched Discovery and then I watched Picard. So here I am watching Discovery where they're just beaming everywhere. And then I watched Picard and she runs to the front of the ship. And I'm like, that is so weird.
I know, but they're still within shouting distance. So they don't have to yell on the comms to get up here. They're just like, yo, get up here. Because it's just a big long hallway, his ship,
Yeah, but the situation in Discovery, I think, was a little more urgent than Rios needing someone on the bridge.
With only 4 hours to go. But that's a whole nother show.
Not to mention technology.
Yeah. I liked that when Seven ran up there, Rios is like, target that ship's nacelle. And she's like, I got it locked in. And then she fires and she doesn't hit the nacelle. She hits it dead center. The whole fucking thing blows up. I'm like, ooh, good shot. Rios is like, oh, good shot. And that's just like Borg targeting right there. Even though she's human at the moment, she has Borg targeting still.
Deadly accuracy.
Yeah. And then, yes, if you remember back to, oh gosh, this was No Man's Land. So if you haven't heard the audiobook, she says, I don't miss. I think that was in the audiobook. It might have been another show, but she says like, I don't miss, which was awesome. Talk about Borg targeting. When the Borg Queen got hooked in, she also had that Borg targeting. And have you ever been walking around on the floor and the Borg Queen just kind of, on her ones and twos, just walks up to you? I thought that was amazing effect work right there.
It reminded me of like what happens when you see a rat or a spider for the first time and you're like, ew, 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 get away from me. That was Jurati's reaction.
Jurati had a fucking crowbar in her hand. She's like, ah. And the Borg's like, oh, what's up, bitch?
Yeah, she's like, allow me.
Yeah, let me
and then
this.
she does this badass thing with the tentacles where she raises herself up and connects to the ship. And I'm like, oh my God, I am getting butterflies in my stomach watching this. This is awesome. My heart's pattering.
That was cool, but I'm just thinking crawling around on your arms, the arm strength that woman has to maintain that, as even if she is a Borg, the Borgs don't get around too much. They're just jacked into their ship. They don't get up and walk around, right? So for her to do that, I thought that was, amazing muscle control to be crawling around on the floor like that.
It really was. And she's out there suspended. Like basically it just gave the illusion of like, this big spider thing coming at you.
Well, I mean,
when she put all those tentacles out.
When all you are is just a torso, you got to have good upper body strength.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. That's true. The people who do have those disabilities actually do have amazing arm strength, upper body strength.
Yeah, you don't want to arm wrestle somebody who's in a wheelchair all day.
No. And the way that she got free, because she was in a cage, the way she got free was she literally did a face plant right on the concrete.
She knocked the fuck over. Yeah, that was comical. I love the physical comedy in the way that the Borg Queen was moving around. I mentioned last week she was pushed down that step and she just went karunk as she was getting pushed down the step.
She was pushed down the step or pushed?
Jurati pushed her down the step. And don't make me beep you, motherfucker.
Well, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't Jurati's cat that pushed her.
Yeah, no, that was totally something else. There's a whole nother cat generation that Jurati brings up the cat thing in her subconscious. So there's that.
Spot 73 and her grade, what was it?
From grade
what
school,
did she say? The grade school cat.
Yeah.
I will never forget that, or I won't. Oh, I don't have the quote in front of me.
Oh, you forgot it.
I forgot it. Beep.
Beep. But so I love the physical comedy. She gets knocked over like a tube on the shelf. I thought that was just like, oh my God, that poor Borg Queen. And and can we just talk about the acting between Jurati and the Borg Queen?
Oh, it was amazing.
It was so good.
Really good.
And then it blossomed into a mine.
I love that.
I thought that was fucking great.
They did such an amazing job with that.
Jurati's like, I got you, bitch. Ha ha.
But let's look at the ominous thing that the Borg Queen said to her. It's like, you've done something which it's rarely ever done. He's like,
and
what's
very
that?
Dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and very dangerous. Like, you've impressed me.
They're besties. They're totally besties.
And I love the quote from Jurati right before that quote where she says, computer, dictate the file log shit I stole from the Borg Queen.
I know that was
quite comical. Her file names are amazing.
Oh, I love it.
They're going to be bumping uglies later.
Totally. Even though one doesn't have any uglies to bump.
Well, there is oral.
Hey.
Hey, yo.
And she already proves that she can crawl along the floor well to get to the target. So
she can use her spine stump.
She goes face first. Oh, dude.
That's just
too far. Way too far,
That's just
man.
a horrible image of scissoring.
Too far. Oh, God.
Jeez.
That just gives scissoring a whole new way to look at. So no. But the thing is that she managed to get in there and give as good as she got. So the Borg Queen that's what happens when you're overconfident. She's like, you're human. I got you. And I was like,
No, you don't. I got that.
It's like she did the grown up equivalent to a child. I got your nose. I got your nose.
That's great. Jurati is awesome because she is that timid and not necessarily completely confident, mousy teacup, or whatever they called her. She is the teacup, but she's also a badass.
Yes, she is.
She's still a badass. So,
and that smile on her face when she got the best of the queen.
Yeah, it's great stuff. I gotta give high fives to the actress. She pulls Jurati off so often now. It's great.
Yeah.
I do have a little teaser though. Apparently, Elnor, the actor Evan Evagora, when he was asked about whether Elnor's really dead, he says, I don't know if I can answer that, but he goes, Elnor does appear again. He just doesn't know in what capacity or how.
Interesting.
Well, he wouldn't know because he's dead right now. So how could he know?
And then also too, going back to when they did the time travel, I thought the way it was directed was amazing. First, I want to point out something funny. They start the slingshot and Jurati's like, hurry up and find a seat with a seatbelt. The second thing is, no, but that's what I was thinking when she was rushing to the
she's
seat.
Like, oh, I gotta sit. I gotta
sit. I need to strap in.
When you time travel, you actually have to buckle in. It's really smart to buckle in for some reason.
Yeah. And I think the directing was fantastic because when they do the time travel, you see the tear going up Jurati's face. You see the sparks going up. I mean, it was
the moment of time
really
reversal.
Interesting.
It was really well done. I mean, it wasn't exactly the same as all the other Trek movies, but it was its own unique time travel, and it was so nice.
It was almost like somebody who directed this had experience with time travel.
Oh my God, Captain,
director.
you hit the nail on the head. Okay, so the director for this episode is Lea Thompson. Does anyone recognize that name?
Oh my God, she's like the hottie from Back to the Future.
Yes, that's so awesome.
Yes, she played Michael J. Fox's mother in Back to the Future.
Why do you keep calling me Calvin? That's what's on your underwear.
Calvin.
She's been a Star Trek fan since she was young, so she was really excited to come in here and direct this.
I love that, to hear that she was a Star Trek fan since long ago, and that she was involved in this episode with definitely involving time travel. And then I love reading about this and finding out that apparently when she got the script originally, there was no time travel involved in this one, and they just happened to need to put it in her episode. So I thought that was cool.
And as a person, she's cool because in Back to the Future, when they had the alternate timeline, when she had the big boob job, she said that she took those prosthetic boobs home with her.
Are you serious?
She kept them. Yeah, she kept the prosthetic boobs,
amazing.
which I thought is just hysterical.
Usually they don't let you keep costumes, right? So that's kind of interesting.
But she kept them. She said, yeah.
They're like, we can't use this with anyone else.
They're like, you can have them. Take them. They're yours.
They're sort of fitted perfectly for your breasts, so.
I thought that was funny. So it seems like she would be a really fun person to hang with or to talk to. But she did, I agree with everyone. She did a really good job directing this episode.
Yeah.
I mean, and Picard was low grade and annoying me. I understand what he wanted to do, but I understand what everybody else wanted to do too. And it's like, dude, I understand you wanted to save the Borg Queen, but that's Elnor.
Yeah.
Well, it was interesting watching the reaction to that because, I mean, I can understand Raffi having that reaction because she's fucking pissed and upset at this moment in time. So I totally get that. But Seven was also like, yeah, we could have just killed the Borg Queen. It would have been okay. But Picard is thinking about this like Picard would. He's got the entire game plan in his head. He's got to execute. He knows that he needs the Borg Queen to get back to the future. Oh God, what movie was that? But yeah, so he's playing the long game, and everyone's looking at his leadership, quote unquote, and they're not liking his decisions, not because they're bad decisions, but because they feel they're bad decisions, because emotionally, that sucked. I mean, it really did suck to lose Elnor like that.
That's a good point, Rocky. And, and she gave the little dig, and it's like, okay, we managed to save enough power to use the transporters. Oh, now you have enough power?
Yeah. So you look at that and you go, wow, that's a lot of back talking for Starfleet. But
you don't
this is
normally
today's
see that.
Starfleet. So we're a little bit loosier-goosier in this.
I'm glad they did that, though. Like, even if you have the most amazing, captain, admiral, whatever, you're going to have people that disagree with you and dislike you.
But
Like, not everyone is going to like you.
And I'm not saying Starfleet is military, but in the military, you're not supposed to mouth off like that, is my impression, right?
Technically.
No, that's a bad thing. So if you say shit like that, you get slapped down so fast, is what I understand.
When you're 400 years in the past, rank doesn't matter as much.
Well, that's true. When you go, when you're in the past and everything's on the line, it's small things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, dude, she bitch slapped Picard. She basically bitch slapped Picard.
Yeah, that actually really, yeah.
Figuratively, not literally.
Yeah, no, she did. And you're right. In the military, if you talk back to somebody, yeah, you're asking for, at the very least, extra work detail in the weekends when you're supposed to be off.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about more military stuff because I got a lot of thoughts on Discovery when we get to it. But it's been really interesting. And to see that the women are working really well together, as they always are. I thought that was cool with Ralphie. You get a chance to get a little bit more of an insight to the relationship. I said Ralphie?
Raffi. It's Raffi.
Raffi. Not
Noel.
Ralphie. Raffi.
Ralphie?
Raffi.
Okay, Michelle.
Think about a raft on a river.
Potato.
Okay, Rafty. All right, so it's nice to see Rafty and Seven work
Not
together.
Rafty.
You just said
Raffi. It's Raffi. Like I said, think about a raft on a river.
I did. I said
So
Rafty.
You remember how when we started this podcast and we never got anybody's name right in the first place? That's this podcast.
115 podcasts later, we're still not getting names right.
Okay, I love the way Michelle and Jerry work together, showing a couple relationship. See, I can pronounce those. So I think that was pretty cool. And again, with the cliffhanger, I'm really thinking, and I'll be surprised to find out if I'm wrong, and maybe I am, but I'm still, thank you. I'm still betting it's going to be Whoopi as the Watcher.
I hope.
I'm really curious to see who they run into. I'm also seeing a lot of hope and feelings of seeing Sarah Silverman in this somewhere.
Oh yeah.
I've heard that call out before, and it's about the right time period. You should totally do that. Just slip her in there somewhere. That'd be awesome.
I'm thinking Adam Soon is going to be the Watcher that they're looking for, so that way they can bring back Brent Spiner.
That would be cool.
And the other thing, did you notice that they also dropped in the number 15 when they were talking about the Watcher? So there's the Watcher 15, and then the sentence was never finished. So
what's that mean?
15.
I don't know. What's the number 15 mean? I know it's half of 30, and that's almost 31.
His shoe size?
I thought you knew.
I don't know. I have no idea, and my sister won't fucking tell me.
I bet that's so annoying.
It's all good. I don't need to know. I'm pretty sure she doesn't know what's going on either.
Your sister's like 15. Well, we had to do an invoice with 15 this and no.
Well, they might have embedded her with something from Section 31, like they did me.
Oh, that's a possibility.
When I had that they
You
hit
mean
the
brains?
Brains.
Yeah,
Brains.
they gave me brains. Speaking of brains, go ahead.
Oh, I just want to bring up one last quote before we start moving on. Is Rios? He said, "Do I look like a fascist bastard?" And Seven's like, "Fascist? No, bastard? Yeah."
Yeah, that was
I like
funny.
that they're going through this wardrobe. It's like, okay, we got to blend in. We need some wardrobe. And you're like, okay, dude, they're only going to have Rios' clothes in the ship. So only the stuff that fits him, maybe a couple things here and there, what's on his ship. And then they start going through his wardrobe, and it's like all Confederation black. It's like, this is all what I'd like to wear during college. The entire time was all black all the time. This was my wardrobe.
Yeah. But you notice again, the fashion sense that Michelle and Jerry had, they still look awesome to put together.
Yeah.
The part that made me laugh is that when the kid got a hold of the comm badge and he goes, "What is Rio sending some sort of Morse code? What is he trying to say?" And the kid's just like,
that kid is like super smart, because I think he was tapping out SOS, wasn't he?
No,
you think he was just tapping it?
Yeah, he was just tapping. They didn't know what he was tapping, and you saw
need to get a Morse code reader in here to tell us exactly what he was tapping out. Because I thought he was tapping SOS, because that's like the first thing you go, oh, Morse code. I know. Oh yeah, SOS. That's like one of the first things you learn in Morse code.
But then it shows you how much they did kind of not really feel in Rios, because they didn't even bother to try to look for him.
Yeah.
Oh, he's over there somewhere. Yeah, well, okay, let's keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah, they just left.
Oh, there's his badge. Oh, it blinked away again. Okay, well, let's go take our selfie.
Like, we'll see him eventually.
Yeah, so it's like they don't even care. And like in 7, it's like, okay, I found you by following your signal. Well, where's Rio? Oh,
I think where the reason is because the target they needed to get to, the top of this tower, was probably just closer than the clinic he ended up in. And they're like, well, the tower's closer. Let's go there. He'll meet us.
But now I wonder how is he going to get out of jail because he doesn't have a
he's got everything wrong
thing underneath his skin to be able to burn a bar out.
I love the ending. Like the last shot is the fucking communicator badge on the table, and you hear it, Picard going, Rios, are you there? Oh, Rios, where's Rios? He's getting hauled away by the police. Or the ICE police. I mean, whatever those guys were.
He's getting no ID, no nothing. Nope. They're going to get his fingerprints. There's going to get his picture, everything.
Yeah, they're going to get him all tagged into the whole system. He's going to be like, what? You don't exist in the system. Oh, you are a bad, bad man.
Everything Jurati said don't do.
He did.
Rios, yep.
he nailed every single one of them.
He didn't do it on purpose.
I mean, the only thing we needed to see him do was accidentally step on a fucking butterfly. That's the only thing we needed to literally see him do was to step on a butterfly. That was it. Otherwise, he nailed all the other things to not do.
The clinic wasn't his choice, but staying around to help the doctor, who was still like a U.S. citizen,
don't get involved.
Was the choice.
Don't get involved. And what does he do? He puts on a fucking medical outfit and says, Doctor, I've got a bleeder over here. That's not getting involved? I'm sorry. He screwed all of it up.
It's chivalry.
He thought with the wrong head.
He thought with the wrong brain.
He thought with the wrong
that's what
head.
it was.
Yeah, because she's an American citizen. They're not going to deport her. It's ICE. Yeah. They're not going to arrest her for anything if they can't find anything. But now that they find him, they think she's harboring. So, hello, she's going to jail.
An obstruction of justice.
Justice, yeah. Now they just need Matt Murdock to be their lawyer because they're near.
I know it's not the same thing, but I have like the Law and Order thing in my head. Dum, dum, bum, bum.
Oh, my goodness. That's going to be interesting. Oh, what year are they in again?
2024.
2024. So that means that I'm trying to remember in 2024 Earth during that time frame, did they have fixed with the ICE laws back then?
No, they were still archaic.
I don't remember. Yeah, they were kind of
It's interesting the tonality that the 2024 is portrayed in and compare it to when they shot this. They didn't shoot this today in whatever quote unquote today is 2022, but in a couple of years ago when they were working on this, it was a little bit different world going on. And there's some thoughts to what things could lead to. And I think this is completely portraying the fears of what the world is leading to, because you had the mountains on fire. You have these horrible fires going on. They're talking about the environment, and then these ICE police come in, and you've got those attitudes coming in. Yeah, they're reflecting a universe, but they're reflecting reality in the universe.
So just another Tuesday in 21st century Los Angeles.
On the next episode, you're going to see the cops arrest Picard and Jurati because the ship landed in an empty poppy field, and they got fined and thrown in jail for breaking the law and hurting those poor flowers.
You got parked for parking in trees. You're not allowed to park in the trees. There's a ticket. We're going to tow your vehicle.
No, if you pick a poppy flower, that's like illegal there.
Yeah, I've heard that. I live here.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We have them in our front yard all the time. They're not going to police your ass or picking a flower. They grow like poppies around here.
Poppies will make them sleep.
So you get high if you pick your poppy?
I think shouldn't we move on to Discovery because it's already we're getting kind of long in the tooth here.
Yeah, I was getting ready to suggest that. So thank you once again. You've melted into my mind. Number one, go ahead.
Okay, are we ready for Discovery?
Turn. Well, almost. What would you give this show rating, real quick, and then we go into Discovery? 1 to 10, Heather.
I give it an 8. Very good.
7.
How about you, Pat? 7. How about? Oh, of course, you give it 7. How about you, Rocky?
I'm a 9.7. I'm very high on the scale. I like this episode. I can't go higher than my 10, but it was very close. So I'm saying 9.7, maybe 9.75.
You can't go Bo Derek on it?
Not yet.
No, I can massage this until 8 3/4 because All right.
Well, if it was 9 3/4, you'd be going to Hogwarts.
It left me wanting more. I mean, I'll give it that. So sometimes you want to get left having more or getting left wanting more. Getting left wanting more, not having more. I'd like to be left having more sometimes,
I'm just glad they're not doing bottle episodes. I think that's pretty cool. Okay, now, Patrick, it's your turn.
Yeah. Am I going to read the whole synopsis, or are we just going to go section by section?
Well, it depends on how long you are.
3 and 1/8 pages.
And how fast can you read?
I can read fast.
Okay, let's try
Don't
it.
go too fast.
And if it gets too long, you'll hear me
We'll
yarn.
start piping in comments if we feel the need.
Yeah, we'll sprinkle it.
Okay, so Star Trek Discovery, Season 4, Episode 13, Coming Home, the season finale. Teaser. The bitch is the bitch is the bitch. Oh, sorry, I mean Tilly's back. Tarka done lost his mind. Not enough time to save them all. Lieutenant Tilly's cadets assist in the evacuation of United Earth. She assures them that they are ready and they are no longer cadets. 17 ships have already left Navarre, going to the rendezvous point. Vance orders the USS Mitchell to assist with the evacuation. If they're lucky, they'll get about 900,000 from Earth and Navarre collectively. Discovery's still in the hyperfield while Tarka speeds towards the DMA power source. The 10C continue to try and trap Book's ship in an orb. Burnham is going to confine the delegates to their quarters as one of them is assisting Tarka. Book refuses to assist Tarka any longer, saying everything has changed. Tarka's waited 10 years, nothing is going to stop him from seeing Oros. Book finds Grudge's collar and offers a glimmer of hope that he and Reno will survive. Ndoye confesses her part in the plasma venting and stating that Book assured her everything will be fine. Well, is that before or after Tarka took him prisoner? Ndoye is escorted to her quarters, not before stating that she stands willing and able to serve. The latest message from the 10C is confusing. They do not see Discovery and Book's ship as individuals. Trina offers to mind meld with the 10C, causing her a nosebleed. She tells Michael that the 10C no longer trusts them and cannot stop Book's ship. Act 1. Now that's a mind meld. Spore drive burnout. Tarina confides that she connected with all of the 10C, not just one, all. Saru admits to Tarina his hesitation in relationships. Tarka invites Book to come with him, telling him Kaim and Leto will be there on this version of Quajon. Reno counters that they wouldn't because they're gone. No matter what they look like, they aren't the same people. The only way for Discovery to escape the orb is to burn out the spore drive in the process, meaning it would take them decades to warp home. Book gets Grudge's collar working and opens a cat door in the force field. Stamets is ready. Black alert. They commence to jump, causing the EPS grid to nearly overload. Minor hull breaches, and the shockwave releases them from the orb. Impulse engines are back online. Book knocks Tark out. They try to regain control of the ship, and he orders Reno back to Discovery. Reno relays the message to Michael that Book loves her, and his ship will reach the power source in 10 minutes. Earth has raised planetary defenses, and the president of United Earth has yet to evacuate. Ndoye volunteers to target a hit on Book's ship. Act 2. Is this Kylise? Or are you just happy to see me? Lost in space. Federation HQ is stuck in Earth's orbit. The USS Pathfinder, Tikov, Credence, Nog, and Yelton report evacuations complete. Vance gives the order to abandon ship. Everyone but Tilly goes. Tarka uses a fractal encryption code and says he won't be able to break the casement of the power source. Ndoye's shuttle crashes into them. She is beamed to sickbay by Owo. Book tries to figure out how to get him and Tarka to Discovery, but there's only enough power for one. Tarka says he is bound for Kylise and transports Book to Discovery, but before he materializes, the ship explodes and his pattern is lost. Michael is bereft with grief, but orders the crew to enter the orb so they can finish this. Act 3. Ryzen Whiskey. We are the Borg. Oops. Sorry, wrong storyline. A bridge to understanding, toxic wakes, and wormholes. On the disabled Federation HQ, Vance and Tilly celebrate with a flask of rice and whiskey, a gift from Tarka after the completion of the Archer space dock. Tilly is grateful that she found her calling because most people never really do. Vance wishes he'd spent more time with his daughter. Back on the orb, the 10C relay a message that we now understand your request to leave the orb. You are not one. How many are you? Paul is surprised that Hugh doesn't beam down with the others. Hugh admits he wants to be with his family after what happened with Book. The 10C are repeating their earlier message. Rillick suggests telling them that they were each an individual one, but also one as a whole. Their experiences and appearances differ, but they all sought happiness, freedom, security, and equality. We want that for our children just as you do for yours. The 10C ask about Book and Tarka. Michael explains that they were part of the whole, once connected, but now separated. The 10C asks why. Micah explains about Tarka losing Oros and Quajon being destroyed by the DMA. Is that why you're here, they ask. Michael and Rillick confirm that it is, and they are trying to prevent more worlds being destroyed. The 10C agree to move the DMA away from their worlds, while at HQ, Tilly and Vance notice the DMA has stopped. The 10C ask why Michael is still sad. She explains about Book that he was her one, and in a great flash of light, the 10C rematerialized Book. How am I here, he asks. They explain that he was held in stasis, presuming the importance given the timing of the transporter. The 10C promised to scan more broadly in uninhabited space, but Book says it's not enough considering the DMA leaves toxic byproducts in its wake, that they must shut it down for good. That would be a good start. He explains learns about the world root on Quajon and how all life is connected, like Avatar. As he speaks, a glowing pattern appears on his forehead, a pattern replicated by the 10C. The 10C reply, "We have caused great harm. We are filled with great regret and sorrow. We will make this right." Vance and Tilly drain their drinks in astonishment. Michael cancels red alert. The hyperfield dissipates. The DMA controller appears. The 10C are going to create a wormhole and send Discovery home. Act 4. A long-awaited reunion is a hell of a thing. Much needed shore leave. Don't say goodbye, just say Kwikani Yquan. Mooned by Earth, and Stacey motherfucking Abrams is the president. Discovery arrives in Earth's orbit. Tilly and Vance walk into the crew lounge for a much-needed family reunion with the Disco crew. Saru and Tarina consider taking their relationship to the next level. In the ready room, Rillick comments to Michael that the 10C were a hell of a thing. Rillick's partner and family were safely evacuated, she tells Michael, and comments on how far they have come since their first meeting. Rillick tells her she's ready for the captaincy of the USS Voyager. Michael thanks her, but says she would still refuse it. What about Book? Well, he did violate multiple statutes, but reasons do matter, as it's the only way justice can be just. In Michael's quarters, Book explains that he was being assigned to assist families displaced by the DMA. Michael is unable to say goodbye. Book says it's Kwikani Yquan, which is basically means we've parted 100 times, maybe we rejoin to part 100 more. Michael tells Book she loves him. The crew prepares for much needed shore leave. The president of the United Earth tells the crew that they're prepared to join the Federation immediately. The president also notes that it must be strange for Michael having come from a time before Earth left the Federation. Burnham says she's just glad it's been restored, and there is so much more to do, so many worlds to explore, many people looking for understanding, connection, and a better tomorrow. Are you ready for it, Michael? Or the president asks. Michael says she is. We end with a view of Earth from orbit.
This episode was full of things. There was a lot of stuff in there.
That was a short summary. Trust me.
Play nice, kids. Play nice.
You should have seen what they had on Memory Alpha. It was ridiculous.
Don't bother Heather. She's been cultivating poppies. And fell asleep.
I gotta say, you guys do these recaps, and it's an amazing amount of work to even think about doing half of that stuff. You guys put a lot into that, and it's a lot to bring back. And you carry it with just the right details to bring the whole thing. I felt like I just saw the last part of Discovery again without seeing it the last part again, because I fell asleep last night trying to watch it a second time and take my notes. But that was great. I think the biggest moment for me, I know everyone's going to say Stacey Abrams, but the biggest moment for me was when Book lit up his forehead, and then the 10C lit up along with him. And they're like, "Oh, you're enlightened. Okay, you're all cool."
No,
he's a glower, not a shower.
No, what they forgot, and they mentioned it in the first episode, that Book's race has the ability to empathically reach out to creatures and to talk with them.
So he's part Deanna Troy.
Yeah,
in a way.
He's very in touch. He's a very in touch
how he's
individual.
able to talk to the transworms, and how he's able to reach other people. So when he was being impassioned,
well, in order to talk to transworms, you just need a really good beat.
Well, this is true. But what happened with Book, when he was giving that passion speak, he was speaking basically almost like to them directly. And I think that's what made a big opinion, because normally you go like, yeah, we're not going to drop the shields and be vulnerable. Oh, look at the little guy. He's really hurt.
And they didn't realize how enlightened. I mean, that was kind of that's the thing you worry about is, well, now it's another thing we worry about, because we just worry about them taking over our planet and removing our women. Now we have to worry about them eating us or destroying us or making us zombies. Oh, and by the way, we also now have to worry about them not realizing we're enlightened and just fucking treating us like the humans we are.
Like, oh, you guys are sentient beings? We thought you were just animals.
Yeah, we thought you were just like a bunch of ants. We were just going to walk over you anyway. Can you imagine that viewpoint of, being that viewpoint as a human versus the alien, just kind of passing through and not realizing that when they walk by us, they blow us away? That's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Like, hey, George, they're actually smart. Put the raid away.
Right?
Oh, jeez.
And could you imagine only being able to save 900,000 people from two different worlds?
Was it 450,000?
Oh, 450,000
from
each.
Both on both sides. Yeah, okay. That was pretty crazy numbers right there.
Let me get some of the minor details out that pissed me off about the show, and then I can get into all the positives. And luckily, there were more positives than negatives. Okay, case in point, the general fucked up. And the fact that she barely got a slap on the wrist kind of pissed me off a little bit because, as a military person.
I have to disagree. It wasn't a slap on the wrist. She went on a suicide mission.
Yeah, but that was a saving grace, and she should have went on a suicide mission because all this shit wouldn't have started unless she didn't.
It was interesting.
Didn't invent the plasma in the first place.
Last week we were talking about what's going to happen with Tarka, and we were hoping that he doesn't do something that makes him redeeming after all.
And he didn't.
And he didn't.
Yeah,
and actually, that was it felt kind of bitter to me.
Well,
but Nadoya, however, had that. She did the redeeming thing. I kind of like that. I mean, yes, she did the wrong thing, and God damn it, confine that bitch to quarters. Sure, I agree with all of that. But then she comes in and says, I'm still willing and ready to serve. And she's like, I love that she's honest right at the bat, too. She came back and was like, yo, I did that. That was me.
Damn.
Okay, I'm responsible for that. She's taking it. She takes the responsibility.
Yeah, but she got beamed to sick bay. She didn't. I mean, it would have been better if she blew up.
Yeah, I mean, you guys wanted to airlock her. I understand. But I love how she redeemed herself and it was like a little bit of a suicide mission. And I just wanted to call out the effects work when she rammed Book ship with the shuttle. The impact from the point of view of the shuttle was great effects work. Having been somebody, I don't know if you guys, I mean, it's kind of hard to relate to this because not everybody gets the chance to drive in a destruction derby. And sometimes you get a chance to plow into a car on purpose, but not everybody gets a chance to do that. But the way that felt in that effect shot felt realistic to me.
Yeah, I liked the way really well.
It did not feel like a bad effect. It felt like, that's what would happen.
I agree. So and now, unfortunately, I'm mad at you right now. Because you had to take away the little thing that I was kind of pissed at. But I do see your point. But I
agree with everybody, though. I don't know if I would have airlocked her, but I definitely would have confined her to quarters like Burnham was doing.
I would. She would have had some sort of punishment for doing what she did. But like they said, that reasons matter. But I was annoyed with her. However, that being said, I actually was way more sad that Book ship got destroyed than Tarka blowing up.
Yeah, right. That was a wonderful ship. I love Book ship. Book ship is so cool.
Yeah, so I was like, but Tarka, he had no redeeming qualities in my opinion all the way to the end.
I didn't even like the way he ended.
No.
I mean, I was really dissatisfied with the way he ended,
Oh, I was kind of happy he was just dead.
I would have liked to have seen like a close tight beam of him screaming and his face melting off.
He just kind of gave up at the end. I mean, I wanted him to go out with a bigger boom, Not a bang, just a boom.
That's how a lot of little tyrants will go out like that.
Yeah.
But I have to give Sonequa her chops because when they tried to beam Book on board and the range of emotion from happy to, oh my God, he's gone.
And it wasn't instant. It was a stage. It was first you hear the air beep. Well, first you see the explosion and then the air beep and then you realize, and then she shifts. Yeah. She shifts through so many stages of emotion right in front of the camera.
Yeah. There's the anticipation of Book coming. You see the sparkle effect and then the sparkle effect disappears and you see the joy kind of flicker and then go to like what happened, what's going on. And then the news that they didn't get him and then how it hits her. And she nearly collapses. And then she realizes I have to run a ship. And then how she pulls herself together and then stuffs all that emotion down into a box and gets back in the big chair to take over. That is amazing.
She is an incredible actress.
Yeah.
She is such an amazing actress.
Amazing.
And if you guys watch the Ready Room after this, where they talk with her about this, she says that she didn't have to reach very far because her parents recently passed away. So she used that as sort of like she was already going through that. She was already feeling that.
As a watcher, and not the one in the past of 2024, but as a watcher of Star Trek,
A viewer.
A viewer. There you go. But not a view screen. Now I'm losing my thought. But watching her talk about how the acting process works and having to relate your grief, that you feel that grief while you're acting, it blows my mind a little bit because actors have different methods. Some people just do what they do on screen and there's no official method to it. Some people sit there and think about, all the instances that happened to them and relate to them in that moment. They think about the kitty cat that died in high school or whatever. I mean, they think about things to trigger things. And there's a process that every actor has different. And it's amazing to hear little bits of stuff like that, the way she emotes on screen to think of a person acting through all those things just to portray something for entertainment value. It's amazing to me.
Yeah, it is, because you basically bearing your soul. That's what they mean by giving your soul to your craft. And she did, I thought it was a phenomenal job. In fact, all the acting on here since the start, as each show has increased in quality and on how they do it. And I really was amazed at it. Now, when it came to Book coming back, first, when he came back, and it's like, okay, how are you going to explain this? And when they talked about how they grabbed the beam, and it's like, okay, I can get that. Because I was hoping it wasn't going to be like a cheap trick. Oh, we can materialize anybody we want, that type of thing. So I'm glad that they had a reasonable exploration. Now, Book's punishment, I thought, was very light-handed. And it makes me wonder, is it because of the fact that, he's Michael's person? Or was it because he tried to help? But I thought that the penalty they had for that was very...
he kind of got a huge
easy.
slap on the wrist, but it was still just a slap.
Yeah.
He got community service. So,
basically.
whatever, dude. I mean,
I think everybody realizes that he was in a state of grief, whereas Tarka was just a piece of shit. And that's why nobody gave a shit when Tarka died. They're like, yay, let's move on.
Yeah, nobody's freaking out over the paperwork on his death.
Oh, no.
Tarka did have one moment, though. He had one moment, and he was asking how to get the ship to do its thing. He was looking for the presto changeo button. And I'm like, dude, it's the one in the shape of an Autobot. You hit the Autobot button, and the ship transforms.
Yeah, because it's a robot in disguise. I was wondering if he was going to get that.
I mean, Tarka is so super intelligent and smart. How come he can't just hit the help button and look it up in the manual?
Because he also has a big ego and can't ask for help.
I mean, it's just like, there are things about Tarka that just clash completely wrong for me. Mm-hmm. And that was one of them.
Well, I love how Book and Jet were able to get out of their cell through a cat door.
The cat door rocked. I love the cat door.
A freaking cat door.
I love that there's just another collar lying around, and it's like, oh, yeah, here's another one of her collars. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the one before I got the diamond-studded one.
Yeah, you had the one that disintegrates holograms, holographic fields. That's quite handy.
Listening to what you two have said about the whole thing with Book makes me think about how there is times when somebody has extenuating circumstances where they get off. There was a father who caught his son in the process of being raped, and he killed the guy. Yeah. And he had no time for that. And so now that you guys said what you said, yeah, and it brought that instance back into my mind. So now I can kind of see where they only gave him a big slap on why. Because actually, he really didn't kill anybody. He just got illegal substance. So
yeah, and he was just doing what he always does as a courier. Yeah,
and he did try to. So and
then he was taken advantage of. He was held against his will. He actually wanted to stop when they needed to, and Tarka didn't let him.
Yeah, he was willing to compromise.
I mean, he gave Reno a whole bunch of licorice. That's got to count for something, the black licorice.
Seriously. And not knowing, maybe he was trying to kill her, because if you eat too much black licorice, you'll die.
I'm sure Jet Reno would stop before that happens.
Black licorice?
Because she likes to die quickly.
That's what I said, licorice. You said it's licorice, right?
Licorice.
I always prefer red vines.
Okay. I was going to say two things. One, when Tilly and them are there and they're trying to save the Earth and they're going to Earth in the spaceship, did anyone else think that spaceship looked like a toilet bowl cleaner?
Yeah, it did.
Okay, good. So it wasn't just me.
I thought that was a beautiful ship right at the beginning. I thought, whoa, look at what they did with Book's ship transformed into this time. And then the cuts to Tilly and that's not Book's ship. That's the Starfleet HQ flying sideways.
And their little emergency things came out, looked like urinal cakes.
I love that, the functionalness of that, though. Well, we just loaded up Deck 5. Just tell them to get lost, get out of here, go away. The fucking deck just kind of warps away. I thought that was amazing Starship design in the future.
It was cool.
I mean, might as well have every deck have a warp engine. That's great. Yeah. That's awesome.
But let's look at also, it was good, also fun to see Mary Wiseman back, to see Tilly.
Yes.
But also the fact that her demeanor is completely different. She's like way more professional, way more to everything. And you saw the Orion and the, what was the one, Pat?
Tellarite?
Not Tellarite.
Yeah,
Tellarite.
Tellarite. They see now they're hanging together. They're best of buds where they hated each other. They're working in tandem now together. So I thought that was kind of cool that they showed you that they're the best of friends without getting into detail. Just the fact that they were hanging out together and trying to get things done.
And Tilly has found her place.
Yeah, she has.
I love that. That's the big difference between her now and then is she's found where she fits. I think
she's good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's good at it. So that was nice. And to see that she was willing to go down with the ship along with the Admiral.
It felt as though she had grown up.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. It really, that part I really liked. And the other part that I really enjoyed is that every time there's an alien, the alien 90% of the time, 95% of the time in Star Trek is humanoid. This time, it was totally unrecognizable. It's just this huge, you would think cloud things, and they were.
Yeah, as it should be.
Thank you.
Yeah, truly alien.
Not everybody is going to speak language. Not every person out there, the universal translator is going to work.
No, and they're not all your same size.
No.
The 10C look huge, right? They were like ginormous.
Yeah, they were. And there was more than one of them.
Next episode, I want to see them meet aliens that are ant size.
Let's go for the tiny aliens.
Ant-Man.
That happened in Next Generation where they had these creatures in the little thing.
Oh, remember? The nanobots and the nano. Those little sand
and they got all
sand
smart
things.
and everything.
That's true.
So they did do the tiny, teeny ones.
They had the other one that called us ugly bags of mostly water.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And that's true. But it was nice to see them go on the other end.
It was. Now, when the president was giving her speech to the aliens and Saru was translating, the first thing that I was expecting Saru to say, "Bitch, that's too complicated to say in math."
I know, right? I'm like, wait, hold on, slow down. And that, what was the other word?
That would have totally been me.
That was like, ooh, that's a lot to say.
I think Zora's helping.
That was very complex.
Oh, they were just working hard on making the translation side of things work. That's what the professor guy, he probably had a bag of snacks sitting next to him, and he's just working on translating back and forth the entire time all this is going on. So they've gotten a little bit better at it. Yeah.
I would have been, could you spell that? What was that word?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to say the wrong word. That would be funny.
It's like the translation doesn't come across well. Can we use a different word? And another thing too is when Jet and Book are there and they're expecting to die. Jet says, "Well, the upside is when we hit the hyperfield, we'll be vaporized immediately." And Book's like, "What is the upside to that?" And Jet's like, "We'll die fast. I hate pain."
Yeah, my note for Reno for this entire thing, because I was trying to take abbreviated notes. So my notes literally was Reno, hungry, die fast. Because she was really hungry. Somebody needed to feed this girl. But she also was like, die quickly, you know.
But she was also, in my opinion, she was low-key badass. Because when they finally got her onto the bridge, it's almost like the scene where you get the hero walking away from the explosion in the background. They slow walking.
Yes.
She slow walks to Michael and goes, "By the way, he's sorry and he loves you very much." And then she just continues her stride.
No, and she says, not only that, she says, "And feel free to kill him."
Yeah, to
like
do
he
anything
says it's
possible.
okay to kill him.
Yeah. No, that Reno had a huge part in this episode. Reno's great.
Yeah.
And
I'm glad they did, because she's such a fan favorite. I'm really glad that they're giving her all of these momentous roles.
And speaking of fan favorites, you see who they moved on to the bridge?
Who?
Linus.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. He's been there for a couple episodes now.
Yes.
Yeah. It's nice to see him
Linus
working.
is now bridge personnel.
Isn't that fantastic?
I thought that was supposed to be like a one-off thing, and look at him. He's prominent. And no, my mom wasn't on duty; she was lower decks. So it was really kind of, cool. I thought it was awesome. They tied it up into a bow. They gave you some hope for the future because we don't know what's really is going to be happening soon. Saru finally got some hand.
Oh man, that was so funny. That's a good way to put it too, because Vulcans are hands-on, if you know what I mean. My parents are sitting there watching it with me, like they're not gonna like hug or anything. Like, well, Vulcans kind of do it with their hands, so that was pretty hot right there.
It was. And I like the fact that they knew what they did, that it was going to take them decades to get home because the jump thing was broken. And the fact that the DMA says, you know what? We fucked with you guys so much. We're going to use our last bit of power and just wormhole you back. How's that?
Yeah, they're not all bad. 10C's not all bad.
No.
I mean, they're horrible, but they're not all bad.
It was one of those things where it was a cultural difference. That's all.
Yeah, that's a big cultural difference.
It's a big
Wondered, it's like, okay, we promise you we won't do it anymore. Hey, George, let's pick a part that there's like nothing nearby that they would never discover. We can still do this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I also love that they were very kind in the regards that they also sent Book back. They're like, oh, we picked up your transporter beam. We were trying to figure out what the fuck it meant. Like, it's your guy. Okay, here, have this guy. We'll give him back. That's we don't mind. And then they give him a lift home through the wormhole thing. It's like, yeah, we can make that happen for you.
And you know somebody in the background, oh, damn, I really wanted to keep it as a pet.
Well, they probably got Tarka. Slightly used. We got a slightly used Tarka blown to bits.
I hope so.
It's like, I got your heaven right here, see? How you like that? Huh? That's all you wanted to do to us? You wanted to probe us? Let's see what we could stick things in you.
The thinking really got flawed with Tarka. He's like, No. You'll have your own version of home in this universe. It's totally the same thing. And they're like, no, it's not the same thing. No, it is totally the same thing. I'm an expert. Believe me. Okay, we're going to go now. And I just fucking hate Tarka so much.
In my opinion, what happened with him is a perfect example when you have someone who grabs on to all the reason they think is right. And then when everything smacks him in the face, it shows is wrong. You actually can see the mental breakdown happen to him. But he still holds on to that fact. You can tell in his eyes, he knows he's wrong. He knows he's fucked up, but he just doesn't care. He's still going to hold on to that.
He's like, no, the transporter could still work. He was still hopeful that shit would work. Maybe I'll blow up and still be there. Dude, really?
He's delusional.
I apologize to the listeners out there because I know I say this a lot. Tarka is a classic narcissist, and narcissists cannot admit fault.
No, and you're right. And he couldn't. He really couldn't. But the fact that they did all of that, and then, of course, my exciting part is at the end when they revealed the president of Earth is Stacey Abrams. I literally thought I heard like somebody was making Jiffy popcorn out throughout my neighborhood. And I was like, what was that? Turns out it was all the racist heads exploding. Of people all around. So
I feel so bad because I've heard her name and I've actually heard her interviewed on one of the Star Trek podcasts. I had no idea what she looked like. So I'm sitting here watching and go, what's this going on about at the end? I mean, why are people going crazy about Stacey Abrams again? And then I watched the end. Abrams. Sorry. See, that's how good I am. But yeah, she acted completely fine and well. Their acting was great.
She came from a performing arts high school.
Yeah, and they said that in the Ready Room. They were talking about that. I'm like, more power to her. She can act, and she held her own with fucking Sonequa of all people. Yeah. And Sonequa was like a huge fan of Abrams's work. Yeah. So I'm just like, this is all love, and I love that Star Trek can bring this in and say, hey, you want a bit part, and we've got a great part for her. And it did not feel. I mean, they kind of wedged it in there, but it didn't feel too forced.
No.
So it wasn't cheeseball cameo.
No.
It was a good ending to the entire season.
And people forget that throughout Star Trek's history, including from the original series, they've always had famous people do cameos. Always.
And I'm like, that's when I look at the outrage on Twitter, the quote unquote outrage, and I see the responses to it. I'm like, what are you guys even going on about? I mean, really? What are you all going on about? It doesn't matter.
Star Trek has been political since the original series in this 60s.
It's not a thing.
Star Trek was the very first episode that had a black woman and a white guy kiss. I mean, that's pretty freaking political.
Do you remember the episode where the children was on the planet and they would go, angel, angel, burning? The guy who was supposed to have been the alien angel was a famous lawyer at the time. They've always had famous people come in on the show to do things, and people forget it. The Next Generation, they had, was it Mick Jagger? No, it wasn't Mick Jagger. It was one of the Stones. Who was it?
Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, that's it. Fleetwood Mac was on the show. They had The Rock.
Yeah.
You have all of these people show up for these parts.
Seth,
I mean,
From the Orville.
as somebody who was watching,
Didn't they say Colin Powell visited the set one day?
Yeah. Famous people visited the set all the time.
Everybody loves. I mean, not everybody. Everybody loves Star Trek. I'm sorry. If you don't love Star Trek, that's your problem. But everybody usually loves Star Trek.
And Jermaine Jemison, the first black shuttle, cruise shuttle, she was on the show.
Yeah.
Did you notice all the names of the ships?
I know the Eisenberg.
The Pathfinder,
really
the Tog, the Tikov, the Credence, the Nog, and the Yeltsin.
In the Yeltsin, I was really happy about Yeltsin too. That was a nice homage to him. You were saying, Heather, I don't want you to lose your train of thought.
Oh, going back to Stacey Abrams, I was just going to say, I think she is an incredible woman. That woman is fantastic. And I know a lot of people are going to be mad at me, but I don't care because that's how I feel and they could go screw themselves. I think she has been such an incredible force for getting people out there to vote, and the amount of work that she's done and the dedication that she's put in. And I see her as an incredible person. So when I saw her on Star Trek, I literally squeed and got so excited. And like, that sounded like it said I peed. I didn't pee. I squeed.
Yeah, you did. Shut up.
Squeed.
You know you did.
I didn't pee. I squeed. Squeed.
The Tribbles heard you and they were peeing on the carpet again.
Well, I thought it
I'm
was
not
squee
cleaning
pee.
that up.
I thought you said you did a squee pee.
Squee pee. Hey, Patrick, you're the one cleaning up the triple piss.
When you squeeze so hard you pee, that's messy.
That's how excited I was.
This was a good finale for the show. It really kind of tied everything together, and I thought was cool. The only thing we didn't see was Gray.
Yeah.
Gray, I didn't see Gray anywhere, so Gray is still trying to learn how to be a for the symbiote,
Guardian.
for the Trill, for the Guardians. But the excitement I really enjoyed when you had all the women together and they saw Tilly and they all jump up and down in excitement. I thought that was so
fun.
genuine.
I thought it was a lot of fun. Little recap on the end of the show.
Yeah, it was.
They're into the season, and I think they nailed all the emotional parts they wanted to hit at the end of the show.
Yeah, I was glad when I saw Tilly come back. I was like, yay, Tilly's back.
Yeah, I was really happy to see Tilly back. I miss Tilly.
Yeah, so did I. And I'm glad to see her character mature. And she's wearing, which is the color these days, is black, because we got everybody wearing black of Picard, and she was wearing black on the ship. So
did you guys like my intro for Tilly?
Yes.
The bitch is back.
Yeah, Stone Cold
from Elton John.
As a matter of fact. Yeah. But it was really, really cool.
Yeah.
So I guess we can get ready to tie it up. The show's been extra long, so we're going to be giving our engineer extra food credits, as well as
I'll give him the Marino.
And
yeah,
we got that.
We won't say goodbye. We'll say Kwakwani Yaquan.
That was cool too, by the way. That little phrase they threw in there, and like, oh, that's what it meant. Oh, that's a beautiful way to say, 1,000 buys and 1,000 more buys later, or whatever the phrase was. But it was well done.
Also, I just wanted to tell you before we go, Chief, that the work order's approved for your modified shower drain. They didn't believe me at first that your member gets stuck in there sometimes when you take the shower, because it tends to go down the drain if you're too close.
A clogged drain in a shower is no fun for anybody, let alone a member.
Yeah, so when they say, like, there's no way that somebody can be that large and it could go down the drain, it says, yeah, he can. And he goes, prove it. So I sent them the picture, and they were like, oh, thought it was fake.
Whoa.
Is that where the ring around the neck came from?
Well, when he gets out, he wraps it around his neck so it doesn't get the floor wet. So, which is cool. Okay, this has been an awesome. First off, thank you, Heather, for your recap. It was done really well. And Patrick, you did a phenomenal job, because this episode was chock full of stuff. And so thank you for the effort on what you did in order to lead everyone through.
Thank you, Captain.
So it was cool. And I'm going to thank you ahead of time, because I'm sure when I listen to this again, I'm going to be amazed at what you do with it there, Rocky.
Beep.
So thank you.
Beep.
Patrick, you got to go fix him again.
Nope.
What do you mean, no?
Nope. He can get stuck in the drain.
I can go beat myself.
He doesn't want to clean up the Tribble piss while he's over there.
I had to laugh. I was checking out the Shuttlepod show on YouTube with Connor and Malcolm.
Trinier. Yeah.
It was those guys, the Enterprise guys. I had to laugh because whenever they swore really badly, instead of bleeping it, they put the Tribble scream in there. And I just thought that's so perfect.
That is so cool.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah. Yeah, we don't do that. So
Yeah, we don't beep, except when we beep.
So that's funny.
No, we just motherfucking curse.
That's
Thank
fucking
you.
right. Yep.
Now,
Yeah.
for those of you that's listening, please be advised that we're no longer doing double episodes. Next week is only going to be the single, which is Picard. So we're going to be back on doing just Picard. Whose turn is it for next week?
And we'll figure it out later. I think I challenged
I don't know the
Patrick
list.
to a game of dice, and we'll see who wins the game of dice.
No, on the schedule, it's me.
But
So
don't you
then-
have that? Don't you have that away mission that we have
that's
to
a-
plan for?
That's the following week, I think.
Yeah, that's the following week.
Oh, yeah, that other thing. Yeah, okay.
So then,
There's
yeah.
a lot of away missions happening in the next month. It's very
there
exciting.
is. There is. It's a whole bunch of stuff.
But then we have a double show again on May 7th.
We have
Which
another double
we
show.
don't have to do that until May, right?
What double
Yeah,
show?
It's Picard and Strange New Worlds.
But that's like way in the future.
It's May 7th.
Yeah, we've got
Okay.
a ways.
Oh, right at my birthday month.
Oh,
How cool is
yay.
that?
Okay,
Okay.
so if you guys want to send the captain a birthday present, the collective. at starfleetunderground.com.
Yes. I gladly accept everything, including, well, no, those are illegal now. So, and I can't say that because it's Me Too.
We got an
So-
email from a Nigerian prince.
I did see that.
Yay, the Nigerian prince is listening.
We're getting our new starship funded from Nigeria, right? Is that what we're
So-
doing?
Yes.
Yeah, we just have
yes,
to
I think
send
so.
them.
We just gotta wait for the
some
check to
money.
clear.
We have to send them, yeah. Then-
And he was quite upset because he responded, there's no such thing as a Federation Credit Union. I says, not yet.
Wait for it.
Yeah, just in another 50 or 60 years, you totally can withdraw.
That brought me back to that moment where Rios is like, hold, fire.
Yeah, that's going to be the thing. So thanks, everybody, for joining us and having such a great time with us on the show. We can't believe that after we've been here now for a couple of years, and it's been a fun voyage so far. We're going to be continuing, of course. Join us next week. Patrick, what is the phrase that book said?
Wakani Yakan.
Which means?
Crap.
It means crap.
Put him on
I
the
thought it was a lot
No,
more
it means-
spiritual than
It means,
that.
it means
It
we
means
parted
crap.
100 times. May we rejoin to part 100.
So,
that-
yes.
it does
so
mean crap.
even though we depart
That's
100
what happens
times,
when you crap. Okay.
if we departed 100 times on this show, it's good that we say like 100 times more hello. So that's kind of a nice way to say. I think I'm going to try to incorporate that phrase. It's very beautiful. So make sure that you just don't have a good week this week, but make it so.
And if you can, support the show by going to patreon.com/Starfleet Underground. Lots of perks to choose from, and you might even like some of them. Starfleet Underground, beaming into a podcast feed near you. Log on to our website at starfleetunderground.com and send your comments and questions to the collective at starfleetunderground.com. Follow us on Twitter at StarfleetUnderG and on Facebook and Instagram, we're Starfleet Underground.